This is Matador News, and here are today's headlines. Pope Francis addresses human rights in Myanmar, Bali residents evacuated after volcano eruption, and the Clippers beat the Lakers in overtime.
Hello, and welcome to Matador News. I'm Jesyka Dunn.
And I'm Karina Vargas. North Korea has yet again launched another missile today. The unidentified ballistic missile was fired eastward from the area near the province of South Pyongan, according to South Korean media sources. The last missile test by the Hermit Nation was conducted more than 2 months ago, the longest time without a test launch since President Trump took office.
Members of the California Assembly are meeting to review how the chamber handles reports and investigations of sexual harassment claims. Some women in state politics say the current system leaves victims with little recourse and fearful of retaliation. The focus on sexual harassment was sparked by high-profile allegations against Harvey Weinstein and the hashtag #MeToo social media movement. At the Capitol, the movement was accelerated with an open letter from more than 140 women denouncing a pervasive culture of misbehavior in state government. Several lawmakers, state staffers, and members of the We Said Enough campaign are scheduled to speak before the subcommittee.
Pope Francis avoided using Myanmar's Muslim minority by name in a speech after meeting the country's de facto leader, Aung San Suu Kyi. This was the most anticipated meeting of the Pope's Southeast Asia visit, given the international outcry over Myanmar's Muslim community. Myanmar does not recognize the Muslim minority Rohingya as citizens or as members of an ethnic group. Human rights groups say the Myanmar military has murdered children, raped women, and destroyed villages, with some calling it ethnic cleansing or even genocide. The deputy director of Human Rights Watch says the Pope missed the opportunity to tell Myanmars that every group has the right to self-identify. The Pope did urge respect for minority rights. He says he wants his visit to embrace all people of Myanmar and to encourage the building of an inclusive society. The Pope will meet some Rohingya Muslims in Bangladesh later this week.
Two big negotiations happening on Capitol Hill today. First, Congress is trying to pass a budget by next Friday in order to keep the government funded. Democrats were hoping to renew DACA as part of that budget bill, but Senator Charles Schumer and Representative Nancy Pelosi pulled out of a meeting with Trump after he posted a tweet about his opposition to DACA. Schumer defended their decision in front of Congress.
Unfortunately, this morning, instead of leading, the president tweeted a blatantly inaccurate statement and then concluded, "I don't see a deal." The president said, "I don't see a deal," 3 hours before our meeting.
Meanwhile, Trump is meeting with GOP leaders as part of his effort to pass his tax reform bill. The Senate Budget Committee approved the bill this morning, and now it heads to the full Senate for a vote. Trump needs a yes from 52 senators, but as of now, several are expressing their concerns about the growing deficit and shrinking middle class. Trump says he wants to pass the bill by Christmas.
Bali residents are being urged to evacuate after the eruption of the Mount Agung volcano. Almost 30,000 people have left the area since Saturday. The Indonesian island is a popular resort, and all flights out of the airport have been pushed back, leaving about 60,000 domestic and international passengers stranded by the eruption. Indonesia's National Board for Disaster Management said locals living in the danger zone need to evacuate, but many were refusing to leave. Clouds of smoke continue to pour from the crater this morning, and authorities remain on the highest alert level with an anticipation of a larger eruption. It's been 54 years since the volcano erupted in Bali.
A man is being charged for murder after he slammed his car into a mother of 3, killing her in front of her Woodland Hills home. The allegedly impaired driver crashed into the woman while she was holding her 2-year-old daughter. Authorities say the mother was getting home Sunday night when the driver crashed into 6 parked cars before hitting her and her child. The child suffered broken bones and internal bleeding, and the mother died instantly. The driver was booked on suspicion of second-degree murder, and police say his previous arrest record and criminal history led to the aggressive charge.
The penalty phase has begun in the trial of the Palmdale man convicted of murdering his girlfriend's 8-year-old son. Isauro Aguirre is currently being considered to receive the death penalty. Prosecutor Scott Yang and defense attorney Michael Sklar began making their cases for and against Aguirre yesterday. Yang showed the jury graphic photos of the child's injuries, and many people in the courtroom became very emotional. Sklar, on the other side, described Aguirre as gentle and claimed he was mentally slow and easily manipulated. Many witnesses testified against Aguirre, including the firefighter paramedic who arrived at the scene of the child's death. The firefighter said Aguirre showed no emotion and almost looked bothered while holding Gabriel's lifeless body. The boy's mother is also being charged with murder and will be tried separately.
Now let's go to Thomas Rodriguez in the newsroom with reactions to President Trump's recent jab across the aisle.
President Trump ended his meeting with Native American veterans by calling Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. The Navajo code talkers spoke about their experiences in Iwo Jima, and Trump took that opportunity to take a jab at his Democratic opponent. The Navajo men didn't react to Trump's comment, but the president of the Navajo Nation condemned Trump's words, and Warren responded almost immediately.
To insert something like that, the word Pocahontas as a jab to a senator, that belongs on a campaign trail. That doesn't belong in the room when our war heroes are being honored.
I really couldn't believe it. That there he was at a ceremony to honor Native Americans, men who had really put it all on the line to save American lives, to save lives of people, our allies during World War II. Really amazing people. And President Trump couldn't even make it through a ceremony to honor these men without throwing in a racial slur.
Some CSUN students say the president has no right to use a racial slur and should be held to a higher standard.
For him to actually go around with a racial slur, which is very stereotypical. He doesn't even know who Pocahontas is.
First, I didn't know who he was referring to, and I was like, who in the world, and why is that ever appropriate?
I'm not a Native American, but I'm also a veteran, and for him to disrespect a veteran that's Native American is also to disrespect to all the values that I fought for as well.
Kind of sad that that's what we expect of someone that we hold to such a high standard, and that the standard, he's essentially lowering the standard for the presidency, and the world, I feel like, is looking at us and mocking us and not taking us seriously.
Trump first referred to Warren as Pocahontas in a tweet last year, but that was not in front of Native Americans. Now let's go to Tory with the latest in business.
Cities across the U.S. are getting pretty serious about hosting Amazon's new HQ2. With Amazon's promise to create 50,000 high-paying jobs wherever it lands next, some cities are taking this a little too far. The windy city of Chicago is pretty much allowing Amazon to keep $1.3 billion of personal income taxes paid by their employees. This money would normally go towards funding public schools and fixing potholes, but it seems that hosting Amazon's new HQ might be more important. Newark, New Jersey offered a $7 billion tax break. Chula Vista, California offered an 85-acre plot of land valued at $1 million. And Stonecrest, Georgia offered 345 acres of land renamed the City of Amazon. It's a marriage between two fast food chains in the making. Arby's is buying Buffalo Wild Wings, the chain of sports bars, for $2.9 billion in an all-cash deal. Buffalo Wild Wings stock had been much lower before rumors about the deal came up 2 weeks ago. The stock rose again in pre-market trading today on news of the purchase agreement. The deal comes as the casual dining sector is falling. Industry analysts say Americans have rediscovered home cooking as the result of low grocery prices and new food delivery options. Kid-related content on the internet has gotten pretty weird, and YouTube is looking to clean it up. Many of these videos seem appropriate at first glance over a child's shoulder, but after watching the entire video, you might feel a bit uncomfortable yourself. The content of these videos include the doll version of Disney's Sophia the Great shoving a toy pig in an oven while teaching children how to make a ham sandwich. An animated buck-toothed teen boy learning how to survive being buried alive, and after escaping, he gets his head blown off by a shotgun. Or a live-action Spider-Man toy cleaning poop off a baby doll body with a real man's face. Researchers say videos like these are not for kids and can have long-lasting effects on children. Collectively, these videos have billions of views, and YouTube is tightening its leash on content controls to make it harder for these channels to monetize their highly viewed, grotesque, and creepy videos for ad dollars. Let's check back with Alexandrea with the latest in entertainment.
Nominations for the 60th Annual Grammy Awards are out. The catchy Latin single Despacito snagged nominations for Song of the Year and Record of the Year. Jay-Z scored 8 nominations, all from his album 444. Rapper Cardi B got her first ever nomination for Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Song. And for the first time in Grammy history, the voting members will cast their vote online rather than an on-paper ballot. The Grammys will air Sunday on January 28, 2018 from Madison Square Garden in New York City. Former Glee star Naya Rivera has been arrested for allegedly assaulting her husband. Ryan Dorsey, Rivera's husband, says she hit him in the head and on his bottom lip while they were out taking their child for a walk. Authorities say Rivera was charged with misdemeanor domestic battery early Sunday morning in her husband's hometown of Chesapeake, West Virginia. She was released on bond after a court appearance. The universe has a new queen. Miss South Africa Demi Leigh Nell Peters is Miss Universe 2017, and Miss Colombia and Miss Jamaica are the runner-ups. Nell Peters was crowned on Sunday at the Axis Theater at Planet Hollywood's Casino Resort in Las Vegas. She's the second woman from her home country to earn the crown. The Western Cape native says her experience of being robbed at gunpoint made her passionate about training women in self-defense. During the competition's Q&A, the newly crowned Miss Universe says women should have equal work and equal pay. Looks like the United Kingdom is gaining a new citizen. Matador News reporter Luzita Pineda has the story.
Thank you, Alexandrea. England's most eligible bachelor is officially off the market. Prince Harry is engaged to Los Angeles native and actress Meghan Markle. The two sat down with the BBC to talk about the engagement, saying it was a sweet surprise. Prince Harry got down on one knee a few weeks ago in their Nottingham Cottage home in Kensington Palace. The couple received some attention because of Markle's mixed race, but she says she is proud of where she comes from. CSUN students say they are excited and look forward to see how she develops in her new role.
I mean, I'm pretty into it. That seems cool. An American and an Angelino is marrying into the royal family, and she's mixed race. I feel like that's exciting. There's already been a lot of backlash from certain groups in England, which I think is interesting, but I think it's important that, their main culture and, their pop culture, which is the royal family, that a mixed race relationship is being enshrined.
I think it'll just be new perspective because she's a new person coming from a different country, coming from a different walk of life, being a woman who works consistently. I think she has the potential to do wonderful things, and I know from the interview that's one of her goals with her new power property and prestige is to do that. So I think it'll be very cool to see what comes of her.
Markle has worked with the United Nations Women as part of the He for She gender equality movement. The engagement ring, designed by Prince Harry, includes a diamond from Botswana and 2 outside stones from his late mother's personal collection. Royal officials say the Queen is delighted and wishes the couple happiness. Prince William and Princess Kate say it has been wonderful getting to know Meghan and to see how happy she and Harry are together. Markle will be the first North American to marry a British royal prince since King Edward VIII's wedding in 1936, and who has been divorced. The couple plans to tie the knot next spring. More wedding details to come. Now let's go to Tory Isaac in the studio with the latest in health.
We've got some hot new sauna research. New studies show that at least some of the far-fetched health claims linked to sauna bathing have some scientific truth to them. A Finnish study followed the sauna habits and health of 2,000 men for 20 years and found that regular sauna goers are less likely to die of heart disease, a stroke, or to develop dementia. Research from this year shows hitting the sauna 4 to 7 times a week can reduce high blood pressure by nearly 50% and improve chronic pain symptoms in diseases like arthritis. Dermatologists say sweating does not actually detoxify your body at all. That's what your kidneys are for. Sweat's main job is to keep the body cool. Happy living, you saunaholics. Don't cry over Don't cry over raw milk unless it's contaminated with a rare germ called Brucella abortus, RB51, which can cause an illness called brucellosis. Health officials have issued a warning about potentially tainted raw milk that was sold in 4 states, including New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is advising anyone who consumed udder milk products to seek medical attention. If left untreated, the infection can result in long-term health problems such as arthritis and heart problems, as well as miscarriages in pregnant women. The sale of raw milk is illegal in numerous states, including New Jersey and Rhode Island. Officials say they are investigating udder milk supplier because the company hasn't reported its dairy source. Let's check back with Alexandrea for news and sports.
The Los Angeles Lakers are not the only team taking a loss at last night's game against the Clippers. Blake Griffin left the game during the 4th quarter after suffering an apparent knee injury. His injury came after Austin Rivers fell into Griffin's knee while fighting for a loose ball. The Clippers were able to get a 5-point win over the Lakers even after Griffin's exit. The Los Angeles Clippers defeated the Lakers 120-115. Houston Texans quarterback Tom Savage is having a hard time holding down the fort while Deshaun Watson is out on a torn ACL. The Texans played against the Baltimore Ravens yesterday, the 12th game of the season. The Ravens won with a victory of 23-16. Houston Texans coach Bill O'Brien says he thinks Savage did some good things, but the interceptions is where they need to do better. Savage had 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a fumble, and 2 sacks. After the game, Savage vented his frustrations to reporters in the locker room. Now, let's go to Karina with your weekly weather forecast.
Temperatures are expected to be in the mid-70s throughout the week with a chance of rain on Sunday, and Santa Ana winds have arrived. Today will be mostly sunny with 77 degrees and a low of 55 degrees in Northridge. By the way, the only supermoon of 2017 will arrive in the skies this Sunday night.
There is a lot to be thankful for when it comes to Thanksgiving, especially for a bobcat who got stuck in a car grill. The bobcat found himself taking a 50-mile road trip through Gloucester, Virginia on Thanksgiving Day with a woman on her way to work. The woman didn't notice the bobcat until she parked her car. Richmond Animal Care and Control helped the driver safely remove the kitty critter from the front of the car and took the bobcat to the Wildlife Center of Virginia for treatment.
That is all the news for today. I'm Karina Vargas.
I'm Jesyka Dunn.
I'm Alexandrea Modis.
And I'm Tory Isaac. Thank you for watching Matador News.